everybody, it's me Stacey here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, and it's time for Saturday with Stacey, YouTube number 235, and this is a doozy. It is definitely technique driven. It is definitely achievable by all of you. Most of you will already have some, if not all, of this product in your stash, with the exception of the worldwide exclusive that we have for you today from Couture Creations. So I'm banking that, with the exception of the new product that I have for you today, you're gonna have most, if not all, of this already in your stash. So wahoo Couture for that. We have winner to talk about. We have a shop hop update for you. And well, let's start with that, the shop hop update. So the shop that did not hop, we are processing orders. We are currently up to order 93100. So in the 9300s. So if your order is below 93300, yes, 93100, then your order is already in process and potentially already shipped off to you. So we will be sending up the next batch, I think next Wednesday, to start to be filled, and I will give you further updates as we have more to tell you. But at least you know, if you are order number 93100, woohoo! We've also finished inventorying all the Spellbinder stuff. Woohoo! So now we have to get them the Spellbinder order, and then they will fulfill that. It'll take them a little time to pick and pack and ship all of that. But at least we've got the inventory all done, and our back room is almost back to normal. We had Spellbinders everywhere down there as we were doing a physical inventory of everything. So the stamp room looks like a stamp room again, and I'm excited to get the shop looking like it used to look for a little while at least. Now, today I am working with Couture Creations. They have new product. They are cut in foils. I'm going to use them in a way that they were not necessarily intended to be used, so that if you do not have a Go Press and Foil machine, no worries. Stay tuned. You're going to want to see what I do with them, because all you're going to need is your Sizzix Big Shot machine or your Cuttlebug machine, or your Grand Caliber. No, can't do it in Grand Caliber. Your Platinum machine. I don't think you can do them in a Grand Caliber. I don't know. You would have to try. But definitely your Platinum machine, just about any universal die cutting machine you're going to be able to work with, even if you don't have a Go Press and Foil machine. However, when you see what they were meant to be done with the Go Press and Foil machine, then you may just want one. But we totally understand. It's an investment. It's not a $29.99 machine. It's a $120 some odd dollar machine. But I wanted you to see what more you could do with this product, so that you didn't feel that it couldn't be for you, because it can be for you. So got all of that for you. Worldwide launch. Very excited. Thank you very much to Aussie Andrew. That's what we call him, Aussie Andrew, because Couture Creations is down in Australia, and I've got a few Andrews that I do business with, so we've kind of named him, and he's Aussie Andrew. Hi! Don't know if he ever knew we actually called him that, but he does now. Kind of like Dan the Do-Craft Man. But anyway, we've got winner chicken dinner to tell you about, and I have got winners from last week, which was 234. Oh, that was the beautiful embossing powder kits that Stampendous did exclusively for us, and making those backgrounds using Stacey tape or your other double-sided adhesive heat resistant tape. Oh, beautiful. Or even just taking and embossing and rubbing those memento inks all over it. So pretty, especially when you use the die in the stamp sets. But you want to know if you've won that product. Now we're giving away the exclusive embossing kits. Congratulations, that's like a $27 prize. Wahoo! And we've got two winner chicken dinners. Are you ready to hear if you're the winner? Our first one is Karen Jemison. I'm gonna go Jemison. Karen Jemison, congratulations, wahoo Couture. You're a winner. Chicken dinner, you're a winner. We've incorporated the snaps this year. I needed to do something a little different with my happy dance. Now, you're not alone, Karen. You've got a friend, because we always give two winner chicken dinners during our YouTubes. The second winner is Teresa. Oh, Teresa, I got your first name down so easy peasy, but your second name, holy smokes. Is it Terhar? Terhar? I'm going with Teresa Terhar, and hopefully I came close. I don't understand why the smaller words are harder for me. The longer words I'm able to figure out. I am dyslexic, and that's not a joke. I really am dyslexic. And so it's just, the smaller words I so struggle with. I will tell you, I was probably 13 years old before I finally understood how to spell the word what. I could not learn how to spell the word what. So I learned by sight, by memory is how I learn. I can't sound things out. It just doesn't work for me. So I have to memorize the word. So I'm hoping that Teresa Terhar, I'm hoping that you forgive me and that you enjoy your prize. So Teresa and Karen, how are you going to claim them? You're going to go to scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Scrapbookingmadesimple.com. You are going to look for the link that says Winner Winner Chicken Dinner at the top. You're going to follow the directions. You're going to send us your email. We are going to confirm that you are actually our winner, and then we'll get your prizes off to you. And for all of you who donated to our Toys for Tots in December, all of you who made PayPal donations, we have sent you all your lovely free gifts, because when people came into the store and dropped off a toy for Toys for Tots, several manufacturers donated prizes or gifts for us to give back to you as a thank you. And so I made that commitment to those who wanted to make donations online since they're not local. So hopefully, if you haven't already received your lovely free gift, it'll be in your mailbox soon. They have all shipped, and I want to thank you very, very, very much for all of the generosity in supporting such a wonderful cause, because truly, no kid shouldn't wake up to Christmas morning and not have anything under the tree. And we were able to buy so much. It was awesome. And we got things for the tweens, and we got things for teenagers, because even a 15-year-old or a 14-year-old or a 13-year-old who's in the foster care system, they maybe it's not going to be a Play-Doh gift, but maybe they'd like to have some new makeup or a curling iron or a blow dryer or a new backpack or a new pair of shoes. So we were able to do a lot with all of that money, and we'll do it again next year. So again, if you made a donation during that time via PayPal, your gift is on the way. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Really, thank you. There's nothing better than giving back. Giving is so much wonderful. It just makes my heart happy. So, okay. Anyway, so today we have got Couture Creations. We're going to start really, really simple. So I'm going to show the product. We're going to be working with the product, the new product there. They're cut and foils the whole time, but I'm going to start very, very basic, and then we're going to get a little bit more technique-y. But you're going to want to start from the beginning. You're not going to want to fast forward through this, because this is new product that you haven't seen before, and you do want to see all the ways you can use it. That way, even if you don't have a cut press or go press and foil machine, you still can have this product and feel successful with it and see the value in having it. So I am going to tilt on down. We're going to get started for today. And wahoo kachoo, YouTube number 235. We're just chugging our way through. All right, down we go, everybody. Bye. Okay, now I have to make the screen closer. And I think that's pretty good. I'm actually going to grab Mr. SMS's chair over here and bring it on over. So I have that close by, because I am going to be using two different machines today. I'm going to be using my Big Shot, and I'm going to be using my Go Press and Foil machine. But first, I want to show you the make and take that we've got going on downstairs. So cute, isn't it? This is one of the new cut and foil plates from Couture Creations, and that has been foiled with a matte gold. Love the little car. Makes a great guy card. And this is what we're doing downstairs for free right now. So if you're in Southern California and you're watching this on the very first day and you're anywhere close to Santa Clarita, which is Canyon Country, Newhall, Valencia, and Saugus, come spend some time with me. We also did it in a couple different colors. There it is in the red. All foiled up. Doesn't that look great? So we've got this going on downstairs. And we're gonna get to how to do this, but we're gonna start a little slower. First thing I wanna do is I wanna show what the plates are. So these are their new cut and foil plates. And they have an edge that's going to cut the paper, and then they have the raised bits that are going to let you foil. And it does it all at the same time. They're metal, they're not heavy at all, they don't hurt you. Your kids can grab them, and they have a blade to cut with, but they do have beautiful, beautiful detail. And I think I'm going to start. Well, we'll try this one. So while these were meant to do a foiling, there's so much more that can be done with them. And I wanted to take them and I wanted to play with my Memento inks. That's what I wanted to start with, was my Memento inks. And I'm going to take that ink and I am literally just going to ink up my entire plate. I'm just going to ink it all the way up using my dewdrop. And what's a dewdrop? This is a dewdrop Memento ink. They call it a dewdrop size because of the shape. It also comes in a full-size pad and a re-inker and a pen. We use the dewdrop size a lot here for inks that perhaps we don't want a full-size pad in. This runs about $2.29. A full-size Memento ink pad runs a little over $6. And if you don't think you're going to want to use pink and orange a lot, it's better to spend your money on the small ones so that you can have them to do things like this, and you can have far more colors than buying full-size pads for everything. I have full-size pads in the black and in the brown because that's a go-to color for me. But other than that, I really try to stay with the smaller sizes so they're more convenient and more cost-effective. Now I have got a piece of my paper. In fact, I don't need one this big. And I have got my trusty dusty Sizzix Big Shot machine. Do you have to use a Sizzix Big Shot machine? No, absolutely not. If you've got a Spellbinder Platinum or you've got a Cuttlebug, what machine do you already own? I don't know if it's going to work with a grand caliber, but any machine that will take a steel rule die, absolutely without a problem. And I am using a multi-purpose platform. This is the small version. This comes with the large version comes with the machine. It's bigger. If you've got the longer one, you're going to do everything exactly the same, just as I do it here. Makes no difference if you have the short version or the long version. You just need that multi-purpose platform. And they do sell the small ones. We sell them. They are an additional purchase, doesn't come with the machine. And I like the small one better just because about 90 to 95% of my dies that I use or my embossing folders fits on this. And it's a little less cumbersome. But it's more of a want, not a need. So if you don't have one and you want one, this is a super great gift for somebody to get for you. But if you've already got the long one, then I would spend the money on things you don't already have, like the foil plates that I'm showing. So I've inked up my cute little rose. Can you see the ink on there? I'm going to put a do not cut plate down on my multi-purpose platform. I'm going to keep my multi-purpose platform. Oh, no, you do not. No, no, no. Oh, it's thinking. I can feel it vibrating. Stop. Okay. We'll see if it listens to me. So your multi-purpose platform completely closed. You're working with a thin wafer style type die. I've inked it up. I'm going to put my white paper right over the top, and then my cut plate. And you can see all the cuts in my plate. And then I'm gonna send it right on through. And I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. Now, this is not an intricate die, so one pass should do, but if you wanna be sure, you're always able to roll it right on back. Let's see what we got. So it cut out just fine. Oh yeah, beautiful. And I've transferred the image in ink. So while this was meant to do foiling, I did it in ink. Therefore, if you don't have a Go Press and Foil machine, you can still make it work just using ink. Let's try the butterfly real quick. And I'm working on the Simply Refined craft mat. You can see that my craft mat doesn't slip and slide. It's non-stick on the top, non-slip underneath. We don't have it taped down or anything. It's got a coating on the bottom that will keep it from moving, which makes things very, very nice and then very easy cleanup. So I'm gonna take the butterfly and let's try the red, shall we? And I'm just gonna ink up my butterfly. Okay, I think that's good. Grab a piece of my white paper. Let's make it a little bit bigger than that. And pick it up. Move my machine right on over. Use the exact same sandwiches I did before, my multi-purpose platform, whether it be long or small, completely closed, a do not cut plate on the bottom, my die with the ink facing up, my paper against my die, then my top plate, and I'm going to send it on through. Now, if you hear any creaks or cracks, that's okay. It's just the machine. You didn't hurt your die at all, I promise. The only thing you want to be careful of is if you've packed this so full that your whole platform won't go through. If you're struggling and your handle refuses to move, that means something's not right. That's what I like about having a machine that is manual, is that I can feel when something's not right. I understand that if you have problems with your hands, the electronic machines are much better for you because you just press a button, but I always like to feel what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna clean up my little mess right there. And let's see what we got. Oh, so cute. Ta-da! How easy peasy was that? And again, I'm not using the foil. This is a cut and foil. We're making it a cut and ink. And it actually embosses at the same time. How simple was that? To take these pretty plates and make them more than what they are supposed to be. But what if we want to do even more? What if you want to use, let's say, black paper? Well, we can do that too. So I've been using Memento ink, which is a dye-based ink. It is probably the best, if not one of the best, all-purpose inks on the market. And what I really do like about it is that they have lovely colors. It comes in a full-size pad, it comes in a dewdrop size, it comes in a re-inker, and it comes in a marker. And even if you just buy the dewdrop size pads, because it is a felt top, you buy the re-inkers and you can re-ink this for forever. It never goes bad. So dye-based inks are your most generic type ink and the ink that you most often stamp with. But there's another type of ink out there. It's called a pigment-based ink. Now, pigment-based ink is a very wet ink. And if you go back to some of my other YouTubes, you'll look for something that says the CDPs of inks, or what inks do I use. And let me just tilt up. Well, I hate to do this, but because it's going to be a lot of me really close, so I'll back up a little bit. So the CDPs of ink are a way to understand what ink to use when. C is for chalk ink, D is for dye ink, P is for pigment ink. And if you know your ABCs, then you'll know your CDPs when you're out shopping. C is the first letter in the alphabet that you come to that has something to do with ink. That means a chalk-based ink, a C ink, dries like that. Very, very, very fast. You don't have a lot of time to do much of anything with it. Chalk-based inks tend to be a little softer on their colors. And then there's a dye-based ink. So you have the letter C, then you have the letter D, which is right next to it. A dye-based ink has a lot more colors available, and it dries almost as fast as a chalk ink. And again, it is the most common ink, dye-based ink used in the industry. So you have your chalk-based ink, your C, because that's the first letter in the alphabet you come to. C dries the fastest. D for dye-based dries almost as fast. But then you have something like a pigment-based ink, and a brilliance-based ink is a pigment-based ink. Well, D to P, you've got D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. D and P is a long way away when you look at the alphabet. And what that means is that a pigment-based ink takes a long time to dry, or can take a long time to dry. It is also the ink that sits on top of your paper as opposed to being absorbed in. Dye-based ink absorbs right into your paper. Pigment-based ink tends to sit on top of your paper. And if you wanted to use a clear embossing powder or embossing powder, you can stamp with a pigment-based ink. It stays wet long enough for you to put an embossing powder on the top of it and then heat emboss. So when you're looking at inks out there in the market and you need to do a project but you have no idea what ink to buy, remember, if you know your ABCs, you can remember your CDPs. If it says chalk, that's the first letter in the alphabet that dries really, really, really quick. D for dye-based is right next to C, and that dries almost as quick and is the most generic, most often used ink in the industry. But if it says pigment on it, remember, pigment takes a long time to dry, or can take a longer time to dry, but is great for embossing powder. The other two inks will not allow you to do embossing powder. So I just wanted to tell, we're going to move on to a pigment-based ink. So I'm going to tilt on down and we're going to keep going. And I know several of you have already heard the CDPs of ink, but for those who are new, I didn't want them to not understand the differences of ink. So I'm going to take the dress form, and I have got a pigment-based ink, and it says pigment-based right on it. It says pigment right on it. This is a Brilliance. Most metallics in the industry are pigment-based. They need to be pigment-based to get them to be metallic. So if you're looking at a gold or a silver or a copper or a bronze, chances are it's a pigment-based ink. If you're looking at anything that's got kind of a shimmer or a shine to it in an ink, probably is pigment. Just take a look. And there's nothing wrong with pigment ink, as you're going to see. It's fabulous. Ooh. And juicy. Very juicy. Maybe too juicy on this one, but that's okay. We're just going to roll it through. What's the worst that can happen? It is only paper. So right now, I'm going to take my piece of black paper. I'm going to pick up my dye, bring my machine on over, using the exact same sandwich I did before. I'm going to put my dye with my ink facing me. I'm going to take my black paper. Let's get another one that I didn't get my fingers all over. Put that right down. Put my cut plate right on top. and send it on through. And I'm going to roll it once. And if you really want to roll it again, you absolutely can. It doesn't ever hurt it to roll it back. But this isn't an intricate cut die, so you don't have to worry about a precision base plate or anything like that. I'm going to clean up my mess. And then let's see what we've got. So cut out. Let's see what we've got. And since we're only using paper right now, if it's not exactly the way you want it, try again. It's just paper. Oh, but it's so pretty. Isn't that beautiful? The ink has caught all the detail in the bodice of her dress. It's gorgeous. And because it's a pigment-based ink and a metallic, it's got a shimmer and shine to it. It's not a flat color. These are just a basic flat color, no shimmer, no shine. Not that you couldn't go in and color with stickles over the top or Nouveau over the top or your glimmer pin over the top, but with a pigment-based ink, it does it for you. Look at how lovely is that. And you can see that it sits on top of the black paper as opposed to being absorbed in. What does that mean, Stacey? I don't understand. I getcha. So here's the Brilliance ink that I just used on top of black paper. Here's the red and the pink that I used to do the butterfly and the rose. They're beautiful, but put them on black paper. You tell me, does that help explain between a dye-based ink and a pigment-based ink? See, you can't see it. It absorbs right in. It loses its color into the black of the paper. But the pigment-based ink stays right on top and holds that color true on a black piece of paper. Oh, and yes, I am using Simply Defined 100-pound black cardstock. I am very pleased to say that our 80-pound black and our 100-pound black match identically. That's why it took us years to get a 100-pound black, because they had to both be the exact same color. But look at that, fabulous. So I'm hoping that that helps explain a little bit about the ink. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to wipe it off. And you're going to say, okay, but what if I don't want gold or silver or copper? I get it. I understand. Brilliance, though, comes in other colors. It still has a metallic feel to it, but they absolutely have other beautiful colors. This is our pink. Their pink. Can't claim it to be mine. You can see how juicy they are. Okay. Ooh, I don't know. Okay, let's try. It's only paper. If it doesn't come out exactly the way I want it, it's okay. It's only paper. I can try again. I need my little magnet. There we go, to pull this up. All right. Wipe off my little. And because you can re-ink them, you never throw these away. You re-ink them. You buy the re-inker. Put my plate down. Take my black paper. My cut plate. Send it on through. And then bring it on back. So you can tell, cut fine, easy peasy. Let's see what we got out of it. Oh, I hope you can see this. Now I've got a beautiful pink tint to my image. Beautiful pink tint. She's got a beautiful pearlescent pink dress on as opposed to a silver dress. Don't know if you can see the difference in the camera, but one is definitely pink and one is definitely silver. And then if I wanted to, I could, well, let's do a different one, shall we? Let's take the Cogs and let's do those in a gold. So I've got Cogs here. And again, this is a cut and foil plate that we're taking and using a little differently than what they had intended us to do. So I think Aussie Andrew is probably seeing this for the first time because we don't really tell the manufacturer what it is we're going to do with the product. I just saw the product and I knew I had to have it. And then they kind of find out the same time you do what how we've transformed it a little bit, because I want it to work for everybody. I want everybody to be able to craft. And I understand that the foil machines can be inexpensive, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to create pretty things. We just have to find a way to make it work with what you already have. And being that the inks are so inexpensive and most of you already have a die cutting machine, I thought this was a great opportunity, because then if you do ever decide to get a Go Press and Foil, well then these are going to work with that too. All right, let's see what we get. Never know what we're going to get. I love the Cogs because they're great for guy cards, and I love the car. See, little creaks and cracks, it's okay, don't worry, I promise. Cut it out just fine. Isn't that wonderful? And then you just wipe it off. Even if you left it there for a while, you're just gonna come back and wipe it off. It's not gonna hurt your plate at all. Done. That's using Brilliance inks to go on black paper, or dark paper, blue paper, brown paper, purple paper. Doesn't have to be black, but anything that is going to absorb in that color and not let it sit on top like we did here. So any kind of dark paper, you're going to need a more pigment-based ink to help sit on top. And then I loved, so I love the car too, and that's the one that I showed you in the beginning on the, I loved the car. But I loved it when I took just the basic black Memento, just your basic standard tuxedo black Memento ink. Most people have it in the large size, in the full size pad, because it is a go-to ink. It is the ink that will not move with water or Copic markers, so it's lovely. And I want to just ink this bad guy on up. Okay, I hope I got everywhere. I'm going to lift it on up and show you that you can kind of see the black ink on it. And I'm going to grab my white paper, bring it back over, and again, this is just basic Memento ink that I'm sure, and if you don't have Memento, try your other inks. You can certainly try your Tim Holtz, you can certainly try your Lawn Fawn, you can certainly try your Stampin' Up. Try what you have, and then if you don't have anything that works, then go find your Mementos. So I'm going to roll this on through. 1, 2. I love it. So the little windows and everything, they all pop out. How cute is that? No foil needed. I certainly could put it in a Brilliance ink. I could absolutely make it a a more metallic-y car, but I just love it. And it transfers so easy, and the little windows and everything just pop right out. How perfect for a quick guy card when you don't have the time to pull out your foil machine and you just need to get something done, and there it is, done. Ink, roll, and start building your card. So that's using the Couture Creations cut and foil plates in a different way, but is more accessible to most crafters. You don't have to have that go press and foil machine if you still want to use these. You can make absolutely beautiful, beautiful things and never have to touch the go press and foil. And then if you like the go press and foil and you want it, well, then that's something good to save up for, or to have as a Christmas present or an anniversary present or a just because present. I like those presents best. So this is just using ink. But now we're going to take it a step further. Now we are going to play with the foils. And I do have my Go Press and Foil machine here with me. I want to talk to you about some things before we get started though. First off, there is a new metal shim that you will need to have to use the cut and foil plates with your Go Press and Foil. Can you use my metal shim? No. Can you use a Cheery Lynn metal shim? No. Can you use, I don't even know who else makes metal shims. No. Why? This one is so thick. I mean, it is really thick and heavy. It is meant specifically to be used with a Go Press and Foil machine and your cut and foil dies. That's what this is meant to be used for. So you're going to buy this and you're going to write on here only for cut and foil dies, because that's the only thing you're going to use this with is your cut and foil dies when you're using your Go Press and Foil machine. Okay? So the shim is sold separately, and I mean it's like there's no bending it. Could you use a precision base plate? No, I tried. Trust me, I tried everything I could think of to figure out different combinations that would work so that we didn't necessarily have to have this shim. You have to have the shim. I really did try, but it's important. You've got to have the shim. The next thing I want to tell you, I'm going to push that over there for just a minute. Here's my Go Press and Foil machine. Slips in and out. You use it with your Big Shot, with your Cuttlebug, with your Platinum, with your, if you have a Kaisercraft die cutting machine, if you have a Couture Creations die cutting machine. What I want to tell you though is that with your plates that cut and foil at the same time, they will cut into your top plate. Can you see I've cut into it? So far, we've only been using this machine to transfer foils. We haven't cut anything on this machine using this machine. We've just been using it to transfer words and images onto paper. This is the first time we're going to be transferring foil and cutting at the same time, and that cutting has to bite into something. This top plate becomes very much like your cut plate on your die cutting machines. So, does it hurt your top plate? No. Can you, if it gets too cut into and it's just bothering you, can you replace your top plate? Yes, you can. So the plates snap right off. Top plate comes right off without any problem. It was meant to come off. It was designed with the intent that you will eventually, if you cut, will have to replace this, because there's still so much more that this machine can do that's coming down the turnpike. When this machine was designed, it wasn't designed with just straight foiling in mind. No, it was designed for so many other things, and now those things are starting to come to fruition. They're starting to happen. They're starting to be manufactured. So This plate was intended that you could take it off and then you can snap it right back on and use it again. That means that they are now selling the clear plates by themselves. Now what I like about the new clear plates is that they're gridded. I like that a lot. Let me pull it out. So this one's gridded. Now, if I were going to be doing this a lot, or even some, I guess, I would take this original plate. If you've got the original plate that has no grids, I would save this just for when I am cutting and foiling. And I'd put this new plate on for when I'm foiling on cards or paper, because now you can start to line things up because you've got the grid. That's very nice. My understanding is that you can also use it as a stamp press. You can put your stamp in here. Don't turn it on. Put your stamp, put your paper, your stamp up here, come down because it's got a gush, and use it as a stamp press. And you've got the grid. So it is sold separate. Is it mandatory? No, not at all. Your machine came with a lid. The lid works just fine, but you are going to be cutting into it. So if you wanted to get a second lid, this is the new one. It literally pops off and just snaps right back on, and it was made to do that. The intent was there from the beginning because they knew that you were going to have more to do with this machine than just straight foiling. So I have got my big heavy shim, and here's my Go Press and Foil. It is plugged in. Can you see that that dot is just red? You must press the button to make it blink. When you do that, it turns the machine on. The red button that just stays on and does not blink, that tells you that you've plugged it in, but you've got to press that button to make it blink. That tells you that you've activated the heating element and it's starting to get hot. Your shim goes right down on top. Right down on top, and that's where it stays when you are using a cut and foil plate. If you're not using a cut and foil plate, you're not using this shim, remember, because you wrote on your shim for cut and foil plates only in the Go Press and Foil machine. So I can feel it already getting warm, and what's going to happen is it's going to blink red until it says it's all done, that the heat's transferred and everything's going on. So I'm going to take my cogs and I'm going to lay those right there and let them start to get hot too. I'm going to grab a piece of foil. Now this is not the same foil that you would use with a laminating machine, and you cannot use that foil in this machine. This is a different foil and it transfers to heat differently. The beautiful thing about this foil is that you get over 15 feet for $2.80, which is far less than your foils for your minks or your laminator or whatever it is that you're using that foil through to put it through a laminator. That means you're getting a lot more foil for a lot less money. And you want to be able to use your foils. You don't want to have it so that it's so expensive that you're sparing with it. You want to have fun. I am going to take that and I'm going to grab a piece of black paper. Now the easiest way for me to remember how to put my foil is that if this was your card that you were, or your embellishment that you were making, and you wanted to pull that foil off, would you see the finished design? That's how you know where to put your foil. So if I did it this way and took that silver grayish side and I said, okay, when I peel this off, I want to see my image, it would not be there. This would foil my plate. You want to look at it as assuming that it's your finished project. If that's what you're holding looking at you, is that what you want to see? You want to see this color. If that's what you want to see, then that's the right way to put it onto your paper. Then you take your paper and you put it right against that plate. Now you noticed I didn't put any shims down. I didn't take a piece of 100-pound paper and fold it in half, although I am going to do that. Normally we take paper with a big shot machine. Every machine is different, but with a big shot machine, we usually take a piece of 100-pound paper and put it inside as a shim. This time I need the shim to go on top. And this is why you're taking notes. The shim is going to sit here on top to make enough pressure into your big shot machine or your big kick machine or your vagabond machine or whatever Sizzix machine that you have. I can't put it here. Why? Because I'm not trying to do just a straight foil transfer. I'm trying to foil and cut at the exact same time. And that die, that plate needs to be able to bite in to the plastic to make the cut. And if I put the paper here, it's kind of like putting a crease pad. When you have something that you want to score, if you put the crease pad there, it's not going to let it cut. And putting this shim here is going to keep it from cutting all the way through. However, putting it here on top is going to allow me to still add the pressure to my big shot machine and allow that foil plate to cut at the same time. Now, one more time, I'm going to tilt up, and I'm really sorry, but it's really important. I'm sorry. If you don't have the time or the energy to take a Go Press and Foil machine and spend an hour or two just playing with it with no expectations at all, this is not the machine for you. Every die cutting machine is different. My big shot machine is different than your big shot machine. I use mine all the time. You may use yours once in a blue moon. Therefore, your machine is probably tighter than my machine. My machine is looser. The longer you have it, the more you use it, the looser it becomes. That means the shims are going to change. The white, it's just white paper. My machine may take a piece of 100-pound cardstock folded in two. Your machine may only need one piece of 100-pound cardstock, not folded in two, just a single sheet. Your machine might need a piece of copy paper. Every machine is different. The thing that is not a variable is the Go Press and Foil machine. That's the same whether it's mine or yours or somebody else's. It's the die cutting machine that is the actual variable in making all this magic happen. And once you get it, you got it. Truly, once you figure out the right shim for your machine and you reveal for the first time you take that foil off and it is perfect, it's like fireworks have exploded over your head. It is amazing. And then you make a note of what shim works for your machine. You write it right on that shim so you don't forget. Will you have to replace that shim? Yes, but it's paper. Every time you put it through a big shot machine or a Cuttlebug machine or a Vagabond machine or whatever, it compresses just a little bit because you're adding pressure to it. So maybe after using this 25 times, it's not giving you as good of an impression that you want. Go get another piece of 100-pound paper or whatever your shim is, throw the old one away and start with a new one. It's just paper. But it's important you know, if you get this machine and you take it out of the box and you want to do it the very first time, you peel it off and you're like, oh, give it a chance. Work with it. Have no expectation at all. And then all of a sudden, it will work. It will happen for you. It's just a matter of figuring out what your die cutting machine needs because they're all different. We use them all differently. I really take mine and really push it to the limits. I mean, seriously, I push to the limits with the die cutting machines that we use. Yours is probably in much better condition than mine. It probably doesn't need as much help, But you need to know that before you buy a Go Press and Foil. And those who have a Go Press and Foil will tell you. They are very honest. They will tell you. In the beginning, it was tough, but oh my gosh, after about 20, 30, 40 minutes, I got it, and now I love it. I love it. So I want you to know that ahead of time. All right, I'm gonna tilt back down again, and I'm sorry, but I just need to be really honest with you. You need to know. I don't want you to be disappointed when you get it. So, this has been sitting in there, and my light has now gone green because I've been talking for forever. Green means good. Green, oh, now it went back to, because I picked it up, now it went back to red blinking. Green is what you want. You want this to get warm enough that this little blinking light changes to green. And because we're doing a cut and foil, you want to, oh, there it goes. You want to add that shim to the top. Now, I'm just going to pull this right out. I'm gonna bring over my Big Shot machine, and using the whole thing, I'm not using anything from Sizzix, I'm just gonna send it on through. And I'm going to sing, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Oh, I ripped my paper, my shim, I put it in on an angle. So row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. And if that's not your favorite song, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. What I did is I went slowly. I know when we're die cutting, our intent or our thought is to go ooh, fast, 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 fast. But with this, you need to roll a little slower. You need to slow your roll, as they say. Let's open it up. There's our plate. There's our cut. Let me put this, I'm gonna put this immediately right back in so it can continue to heat. Only I'm gonna change this one out. And put my car down. Did you see how I used these? The tweezers. These come with the machine. So the machine comes with the platform, it comes with the tweezers, it comes with 2 rolls of foil, it comes with a little silicone mat, so if your plates are hot, you don't put them down on your beautiful 100-year-old wood table and make a little cog outline. But the tweezers, people have trouble understanding the tweezers because they're a little unique. You close them, you pick up your hot die, and then you open them for it to drop down. So I'm gonna let this sit in here and start to get warm because I wanna keep that heating element heating at all times. And then let's see what we've got. How fabulous is that? Oh, don't do that, Stacey. How fabulous is that? So where there was pressure, it left the foil, and where there wasn't anything to foil, it left the black paper. And then you are left with this. That also can be used. I have a whole YouTube on how to take this transfer, how to take this off, run it through your Go Press and Foil machine so that you transfer that foil as well. Or you can just leave it like this. And I suppose we could, let's see. What if we just took our paper and our die, we're not gonna ink it. I'm just gonna put it down there, put it here, put it there. We're not inking it. Remember, we inked the first go round. I'm just die cutting out that shape. Move this out of the way. impromptu, and then we took ha 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 ha. And then we could attach it. And you have another one and you didn't even have to transfer the foil. So here it is, a direct transfer onto black paper. Here's the negative. And because it is a cut in foil, I just cut it out of plain old white paper, and then I can take this and adhere right to it, just glue it on down. And now I have made 2 out of 1. Voila! That was impromptu. Yay! Okay, so let's take the car. Shall we take the car? That was fab. I'm so happy that we did that together. That made my heart happy. I hope it made your heart happy, because it means that there is no waste at all. Of course, then you can take this, peel this off, and if you wanted to die cut little flowers or whatever out of that extra foil, no problem. Let's take the car and, let's do it out of the gold. So I'm going to cut off a piece of foil. I'm going to grab a piece of white paper, and I'm going to remember, when I'm done with this card, I want to see that gold. So that's what I'm going to put against my foil plate. I'm going to close it up. I'm going to let it go green. Right now it's green, but I think it's fibbing. I think once it realizes that I've put paper in there and the foil in there, it may go back to red. So I'm going to give it just a second to think about it and say, really? Are you really green? Because it's always better to let it heat a little bit longer than a little bit less. That's an important element. If you don't let it heat up enough, when the transfer happens through the Big Shot machine, the plate isn't hot enough to force that transfer. So it's still saying yes. And it's only paper. So I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to use my shim. Hopefully I don't put it on crooked. I'm going to use my shim. Bring back over my Big Shot machine. Big Shot, Big Kick, Fabby Big Shot, Vintage Big Shot. Which Big Shot do you have? Or a Big Kick or a Vagabond? And I'm gonna send it on through, and we're gonna sing row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Let's try once and see if life is such a dream. We're gonna try. I only sent it through once. I didn't roll it back a second time. Move that out of the way. Bring this back over, because I want to put this right back into the heating element so it constantly is staying warm. Let's open up. And this is where we're at. Now we've taken out the die cut, and the little windows pop out. And you're saying, but it's still all gold. Okay. We take off the top layer. Ha ha ha. Is that fabulous? Is that not just yummy? It's amazing. I am so excited to have this. This technology, I think, is most what I'm excited about, because now it opens all new doors. But if you don't have the Go Press and Foil machine, it's okay. Remember, you can make the transfers using ink. Maybe you have the Go Press and Foil, but for what you're working on, the ink actually is better. Maybe that's more the look you're going for. Look at that's just ink. And then of course we now know that we have this fabulous we have this fabulous leftover piece that I am going to take and quickly do a die cut out of. I'm not going to ink this at all. I'm just going to die cut it. Plate down, ridges face up, paper down. Got to turn my machine around. Make sure I don't ruin that. And send it on through. See, as we die cut, we usually tend to go a little bit faster. Than what we need to do when we are using our Go Press and Foil machine. Oh, see, look, it's even embossed it. Can you see that? It's even embossed it just on the plain paper. But then I could take my leftover element, lay it right on top, and make 2 out of 1. So easy to do. Okay, let's do one more. Because remember, you need that heavy metal shim. Heavy metal shim, and the only place to get it is, you can't use anybody else's shim. I wish you could, truly, because I'd love to be able to say, well, you've got this already and you can use that, but the shim was manufactured to go with the Go Press and Foil machine, and that's what it's meant to go with. I think I'm going to grab a piece of black paper. I'm going to put my little dress down. Let's do it in a really bright, happy color. My scissors, cut off a piece. Layer. This is how I want to see my card. I want to be able to see that against my card when I'm all done. So that's going to go flat down against it. Close it up and give it a second to get hot. Now it's green now, but it's going to change, I promise you. And in the meantime, you're going to remember that your Brilliance inks are your pigment-based inks, and that's what gives you that beautiful shimmer. I'm looking for my samples of my, oh, here's the, oh, there it is. There's the gold. There's the silver. So pigment-based ink sits on top where dye-based ink absorbs in. So if you want to use black paper, go grab your pigment-based ink. And you can see I was right. It turned back to blinking, and that's telling me it's not quite ready yet. But now it turned to green. That says, okay, green means good. Go ahead. I'm gonna pull it right out, move that out of my way. Bring over my machine. What am I forgetting? I am forgetting my shim. Is your shim gonna be the same as my shim? Maybe, maybe not. You're gonna work with it until you figure that out. And I'm just gonna roll it through. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Do I wanna roll it back? I don't know. Let's see if it's too much. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. There we go. You don't want to roll too fast. You want to give that transfer time, that heat time to adhere to your paper. Let's open it up. I'm going to put this right back into my heating element right away so it's continually getting warm. Let's bring this on over. It cut fine. And there's my dress. So pretty. It's got all the fine detail in there of her bodice, all the lines of the cage of the dress form, and it's all cut out. Now you could, I think I cut one earlier, you could take black and just cut like we were doing before, just the image, and if you wanted, you could take that and just do a little shadow behind it to give it a little more depth and dimension, because it cuts. It allows you to just cut the shape, but you can see it also embossed. That's kind of cool, isn't it? And you can just line it up. Take some Stacey tape or one of my tape runners or a tape runner you already have, glue, adhere them together, and now you've made a little shadow for your form to give a little more depth and dimension to it. And of course, we are left with the negative piece to do something with as well. So, what did we do today? Well, we started easy peasy. We started with just some basic memento inks, and that's what we did. And we took these cut and foil dies and made them into something more than what they were intended to do. That way, if you don't have a big shot machine or a Cuttlebug machine or a die cutting, a Go Press and Foil. You got to have a die cutting machine, but if you don't have a Go Press and Foil machine, you can still use these to make beautiful, beautiful die cut images. Got to have a die cut machine, but if you don't have the Go Press and Foil, that doesn't mean that you can't use these. You get to use them in a whole different way. Then we took it and we used with pigment-based ink and made some beautiful images using a pigment-based ink, which gives you that metallic look to it, and it sits on top of black paper. It allows you to use black paper where a dye-based ink will not. So pretty. Then we took it and we used it for what it was intended to do, which is cut and foil all at the same time. All at the same time. But then we realized that we have the negative still to play with. And because it cuts, we could take it and just cut it on basic paper, any color that you want, and then take the negative that was left over when I peeled it off of here. I was left with this negative that I could then adhere to a piece of paper and make a twofer. And who doesn't like a twofer? Right? So, lots to be done with the machine, and there's still more coming out. There is. Remember, if you do have this machine or you do buy this machine, remember the button when you plug it in, it just shows red. You have to actually press it to make it go, to make the heating element start. And it has a built-in timer. So if you leave it for 20 minutes or so and you don't do anything with it, you don't take it off, you don't put it on, it's going to shut itself off automatically. And it has the tweezers. So if you don't want to touch hot, that's warm, I'm not gonna lie, that's hot. You take your tweezers and you just pick up your item, and you can either put it down on your non-stick, non-slip craft mat, because this is heat resistant up to about 500 degrees, or they've given you a little silicone pad that you can drop it right down onto. So if you've got a die cutting machine and you want to make pretty things, but you're not ready to invest into a Go Press and Foil machine, these are for you without question, because you're going to be able to do the beautiful, beautiful images with ink. And if you have a Go Press and Foil machine, well, you've got the best of both worlds. You can do either or. You can decide what you want it to look like. Do you want to foil it? Do you not want to foil it? Maybe for the guy card, you don't want to foil. You want to just ink. Okay, you've got options. I love it when you have options. Okay, so I'm going to show you. There's only I think a handful of plates, maybe 9 of them, in the first go round. And this one is a floral lilies. Comes packaged like this, and inside this plate makes a beautiful bouquet with lilies on it. Then we have the butterfly that I used earlier. Beautiful butterfly. Then we have the bird cage. And I have samples to show you of all of these, finished samples. So we have the bird cage. Then we have that lovely rose that I used. The cogs that I was using. Even if you just get the ones that are for the guy and you don't have a go press and foil, at least you have another way of doing guy cards. We have a beautiful flourish. Beautiful flourish. We have the dress form that I was working with. We have the old jalopy car. And we have the feathers. They're all on a YouTube Yummy, and we do have an I Want It All for you. But remember, if you are buying any of these, you also have to buy the heavy shim. And it does say that it's meant for the Go Press and Foil with cut and foil dies. It's small, but it says it. Aussie Andrew, couldn't you have made that a little bit bigger? Or maybe even somewhere on the shim, just saying. That way they know there's shim from one shim from another. So this is meant specifically for the cut and foil dies, and no other shim is going to work. I tried. And then if you are not happy about cutting into your plate, or you now want to have the new plate that allows you to grid if you want to, for your, just when you're foiling, the top plates snap right on and off, easy peasy, mac and cheesy. You can keep one just for your cutting. I would use the old one for cutting, and I would snap this one on when you are doing your plain foiling, because you've got some way of doing an alignment. I like that idea. That works for me. Okay, now for samples. So pretty. So on the YouTube Yummy, we're gonna have Brilliance ink. We're gonna have Memento ink. We're gonna have the foils, all the different colors of the foils, and we will have the plates. That will all be part of your YouTube Yummies. And again, the plates are a worldwide exclusive. Push some of this out of my way. And here we go with samples. This was done with ink. Not foil, but ink. This was done with ink and the Nouveau Pretty paper. There's the birdcage done in just ink. Here's the butterfly done in 3 different foils. You've got the silver, the green, and the iridescent gold. Gold is beautiful. So here's the butterflies in 3 different foils. Here are the feathers. I like what it says. Where feathers fall, angels tread and gypsies roam. I like that. That was a really nice sentiment. Have no idea where it came from. I think it was cut out of a piece of paper. But there are the feathers, all done in foil. Here you have the flourishes. Here we have the negative of the car. So where was that one? Okay, here, remember I showed you this one in the beginning? And then we peeled it off and we were left with the negative piece. There's the negative card. That's using the piece that came off of this one to make this. Wahoo Couture, right? 2 for 1. There's using the negative. So you can see that instead of the doors being foiled, they're clear because the foil is on these doors. 2 furs. Then we have the butterfly and the flourish done with inks. Here is The birdcage done in foil. Simple and sweet and easy. Lovely. And the beautiful thing is, if you're playing with the inks, all you're using up is paper. That's all you're doing, is you're just using paper. Here are those lilies, the bouquets of lilies, done in foil. The cogs. Done in foils. Our old jalopy, done in foil. Our roses, done in foil. Our old jalopy, done in ink. That's done in ink. Probably flannel gray memento. Done in ink. And then last but not least, our beautiful dress form, done in foil. So, you've got plenty of technique to use with these new cut-in foils, even though that isn't necessarily what they were intended to do. If you've got ink, let me zoom on back because that's an awful lot of me. There we go, much better. If you've got inks by Stampin' Up, or Tim, or Lawn Fawn, or Prima, I don't know, try them with these new cut-in foils, just running them through your die cutting machine, because all you're using is paper. So it's okay if it's not exactly right the first time. You'll figure out the right ink to use. Memento, absolutely. Easy peasy, works all the time. It's just a go-to. You don't have to worry about will it work type of ink. It's awesome. And if you have a Go Press and Foil, well then you can ink or you can foil. You've got choices, you've got options. And if you're thinking about buying a Go Press and Foil, we've sold a lot of them. I won't lie, we have sold a lot of Go Press and Foils. It's the truth, it truly is. And every customer who has called us or emailed us or has come into the store said, it took me just a little while, but when I got it, when that first one came out perfect, it was magic. And since they give you 2 rolls of foil to start with, and we give you a free plate with your purchase, when you buy one from us, you get a free plate because for some reason Aussie Andrew did not include a free plate with it. We've had a conversation about that. Love you. So we give you one, that way you can start playing right away. Practice with the foils that they gave you. Take some time just with yourself or your crafty friends and learn about the machine. Because like I said, everybody who has commented about this machine to us has said, you were right, it took me a little bit of time, but when I got it, it was beautiful. And they have more coming out. Not to mention my own, that I do my own foil plates and dies and stamps to coordinate. So I hope that this was a good YouTube for you. I hope you learned something. I hope you saw that you don't have to have the machine if it's not in the budget or it's just not for you, but you want to be able to do great, you want to do great die cards. And all you have to do is ink up that plate. It just becomes a die at that point. Wahoo Couture. Okay, it's me, Stacey. Where are you going to find all of these products? Scrapbookingmadesimple.com under the YouTube Yummies category, Wahoo Couture. And if you didn't go and listen to the very beginning of this YouTube and you have a shop that didn't hop order, then you didn't get the update. That's what you get for fast forwarding. All right, you guys, I will see you next week. and I had so much fun. Thank you. Bye.